And then we saw what you call Egypt inviting the United Arab Emirates to be a non-voting member of the Eastern Mediterranean gas exporters. I mean, the UAE is in the GCC. It's like thousands and hundreds of miles away from the Mediterranean. So it has nothing to do. I mean, if you look at the UAE exactly, it's down there, like in the center, right? And for it to go in one line, for example, to Egypt, where you have the Sinai, which is the triangle right underneath the word Israel, it's way away from the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean starts from where the Israel, like the word Israel says, and all the way, like you get to see it. The Mediterranean is right above Egypt, Libya, Algeria, and from above there's Turkey, Syria. Okay, so you get to see it, right? That's the Mediterranean. UAE, if United Arab Emirates, if you actually zoom out, it's way down, it's way away. So why would Egypt invite the United Arab Emirates to be a non-voting member of the East Mediterranean, gas exporters? It's not part of that, non-voting member. So they were setting what you call the tone beforehand, years before, for that alliance of the energy pipelines that go from east to west through the Eastern Mediterranean to Cyprus, and from Cyprus basically all the way to Greece. So you get to see
So,
Cyprus.
so this is Cyprus.
Yes.
It goes all the way to Greece.
Greece, right? Like, no, down. Yeah. You get to see Greece now, right? So they bypassed Turkey. What did Turkey do at that time, if you remember? Turkey announced that its economic and territorial waters and economic waters extend all the way to the southern Mediterranean to Libya. What does that mean? So it's from Turkey, where you say Anatolia, for example, and scroll a little bit down or zoom out a little bit, all the way to Libya, next to Egypt. So if all the economic waters between Turkey and Libya belong to Turkey, then any pipeline that passes from the Israeli side and Egypt to Cyprus and from Cyprus to Greece will have to pass through the waters of Turkey. And that's the next fight as well, because Turkey.
And one quick one. And one quick one before you continue, because you're putting out a lot of information.
Sorry.
Does this explain why Turkey supported the government in Tripoli to go against renegade General Khalifa Haftar in Libya? Because the French are supporting Khalifa Haftar, and then Turkey, if you remember, during the war, they sent in a lot of drones and sent personnel to Tripoli to support the government in Tobruk.
They also sent mercenaries.
From
a lot
Syria.
Of mercenaries. From Syria. Okay, so it's in one part the reason why Turkey took part in that war and supported the government that the United Nations back against Haftar, whom the United Arab Emirates back. The main fighting is actually between the Muslim Brotherhood and the GCC states. So the United Arab Emirates was supporting General Haftar because he was fighting against the Muslim Brotherhood, who supported the government. And Turkey at that time and until today basically is what you call a pro-Muslim Brotherhood and is Muslim Brotherhood. Erdogan is Muslim Brotherhood at the end of the day. So he wanted to support anybody who is fighting against the Emiratis and at the same time who is pro-Muslim Brotherhood. So that's why basically Turkey took part in that fight. It's not only to control resources, but also petty grievances between Turkey and the UAE. Also what you call strategic fight between the Muslim Brotherhood and the GCC states. And that's why we saw the UAE take part in that fight with their warplanes bombarding in Libya.
Back up a little bit. Here's what I don't understand.
Sorry.
In Syria,